Okay, here's some, let's say, finish up work on this FrankenTruckHD. I talked about using some 5-inch or 4-inch stacks on this truck, but after I went to Summit and I bought some 4-inch, I just didn't like it. It was too big, it didn't make any sense, and I'm really running 3-inch exhaust anyway coming out of the cats. So other than appearance, and I don't know, it would just be too much work to get from point A to point B, let's say. So I went back to Summit and I picked up 2 4-foot long 3-inch stacks, and I've already done some measuring and figure out where I want these things. But what I'm going to end up doing is cutting off some length off of this stack here. In particular, this one's 8 5/8. I'm going to cut off the length and I'm going to weld on a 90-degree elbow. And this is a very tight turn, I think a 3-inch radius on these elbows. And of course I'll index it so that I have my turnout facing the way I want. From there, I'm going to build some mounts onto the bed, because we're going to make the stacks pretty rigid, but there'll be some flex pipes or flex tubing, whatever, to take up the vibrations. And we decided, I talked to my exhaust guy, and we decided to come above the gas tank because it's just too complex to come below the tank, make a turn, come back, turn up. It was just too much. So a lot of the diesel trucks, they'll come up through the frame and then cut a hole in their bed, which I'm not a fan of, but and run straight up through their bed. But what we're going to do is come out of the exhaust, actually go through a muffler. These are going to be Magnaflows, and they're U-turn mufflers. I think they use them on Mustangs. So it'll go in, turn, and come back, come up, and then out, and then up to each side. So that's the plan. I'm just going to get these pipes ready and get everything mounted so I can take it to my muffler guy and let him do his magic. Okay, here's the plan on the pipe. I wanted the end to be turned back just a little bit away from the cab. So what I did is I placed it and I drew a line. If you look and see where that thing's turned back a little bit, I drew a center line. Then I took my elbow and I just laid it flat on this workbench, and I put this in the midsection of that elbow. And then of course I added my little magnets, and that'll help square things up. And I'll buzz that together, and that'll take care of the driver's side pipe, at least getting it in the configuration that I want. Alright, so I have the 2 pipes welded together. This one happens to be the passenger side. And now I'm going to build a bracket. And this is one of those old bed frames that I've salvaged. And I think I'm going to use all these pieces from this bed frame. I'm going to drill off this plate, and I'm going to take this is a split 2 pieces. I'm going to trim off what I don't need, and then the leftovers will be welded to the pipe, and I will relocate holes as needed to make the mounts. So it'll end up being that this piece of angle iron will be probably cut in half. I'll figure out the measurement here in a minute, and then I'll drill some holes, like I said, somewhere in 2 locations for these 2 what will end up being brackets welded to the back side of this pipe. I think it's going to work out pretty good. Well, I think the hard part for me is over. Like I said, I took those chunks, cut them down, welded them to the pipes. Then I have a couple holes here at the top, and those holes will go into the bed there and down there. And I just threw some VHT paint on them, and I'm gonna get those dried out, and I'll rehang them and show you what that looks like. And there they are installed. Now of course I'll have to get the pipes hooked up probably tomorrow, but I like the way it looks. I think it fits the truck nice. And I think it's going to sound really good too. Of course, we'll have to wait for that again. Just a little bit hanging out on each side. Yep, we'll find out how it sounds tomorrow. Alright, it's got the exhaust on it. Everything's connected. You might get a kick out of this. I've got a pair of Magnaflows on it. And these are turnaround mufflers. I think they use them on Mustangs. But my exhaust guy built this custom setup for me. So I've got the pipes coming from the cats into the nice shiny stainless steel mufflers, back out, and then making the turns either way to the stacks. And he put in some flex joints, and I think it looks pretty cool. I mean, it's different. You know, it would have been a lot cheaper maybe to run it straight out the back, but I really wanted to have my stacks. So I still got more to do. Still waiting on the inner fenders to show up. Ordered them at Summit, but they're back ordered, so waiting on those. Still have to deal with the instrument cluster, but that's how she sounds. Not too loud. It's got a good little note to it. But now I can drive it and be able to hear myself think. So yeah, a little more work, a few more things to do, and I will be driving this every day.